From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Saturday, September 27th, 2014. Silver is trading at $17.67 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,219 per ounce. And according to BitcoinAverage.com, the average price of Bitcoin is $406. Antiwar.com reports some 700 Taliban fighters attacked the Azristan district of the Ghazni province in Afghanistan earlier this week and seem to have more or less taken it over, with provincial officials saying they have lost contact with police in the area. Fighting is expected to last well into the weekend, with over 100 killed and Afghan army forces being pushed back and giving the Taliban effective control over the extremely important district, which includes the nation's main highway, which goes from Kabul to Kandahar. The Taliban has made increasing gains across the south and central portions of Afghanistan in recent months, as NATO tries to stay back and let the Afghan military prove itself in direct fighting. So far, the news has not been good. FPP Radio News is brought to you by Roberts & Roberts Brokerage. For over 35 years, Roberts & Roberts has been a trusted source for buying and selling your investment-grade precious metals. They now take Bitcoin for purchasing precious metals so you can turn your profits into a long-term investment. Call Roberts & Roberts today for knowledgeable advice on investing. 800-874-9760. The Associated Press reports a contract employee who recently was told he was being transferred to Hawaii set a fire at a suburban Chicago air traffic control center where he worked, bringing two of the nation's busiest airports to a halt Friday morning. A criminal complaint was filed in U.S. District Court in Chicago and charges Brian Howard of Naperville, Illinois, with one count of destruction of aircraft or aircraft facilities, which is a felony. The FBI said that Howard remains hospitalized because of his injuries and that no court date has yet been scheduled. A relative who saw a suicidal Facebook note posted on Howard's account early Friday alerted authorities. Meanwhile, a 911 call from the control center brought a suburban fire department to the scene, where paramedics followed a trail of blood past a gas can, two knives, and a lighter. When they found Howard, he was trying to cut his own throat and told paramedics, quote, "Leave me alone." Delays and cancellations rippled through the air travel network from coast to coast after the fire. The ground stoppage at O'Hare and Midway airports immediately raised questions about whether the FAA has adequate backup plans to keep planes moving when a single facility has to shut down. By late afternoon, about 1,900 flights in and out of Chicago had been canceled. A few flights resumed after a nearly 5-hour gap. Those planes were moving at a much reduced pace, and no one could be sure when full service would be restored. The early morning fire forced the evacuation of the control center in Aurora, about 40 miles west of downtown Chicago. It was the second unexpected shutdown of a Chicago area air traffic facility since May. In the spirit of Motorhome Diaries and Liberty on Tour, I intend to take the message of peace, love, and liberty on the road. During the 104-day trip, I'll be visiting at least 10 cities across the country, speaking to people about the ideas of peace, love, and liberty. To find out more about the tour or to donate, visit tour.fppradio.com. That's tour.fppradio.com. Reuters reports talks began on Friday to mark out a 19-mile buffer zone between the Ukrainian government forces and the separatist rebels in the country's east. A statement by the military in Kiev said a Ukrainian team met a 76-member group of Russian officers north of the major Ukrainian city of Donetsk to work on establishing the zone, designed to put government and separatist forces out of striking range of each other. A statement was released saying, "Today, a working group began its work. Representatives of the Ukrainian side, a monitoring group from the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, and 76 Russian servicemen took part." An OSCE spokesman in Kiev said monitors from the 57-nation security and rights watchdog had observed Ukrainian and Russian military officers at preliminary talks. The spokesman said, "We were there in line with our mandate and to help for the effective implementation of a ceasefire." In Moscow, the foreign ministry denied any of its military had met a Ukrainian team to work out details of the buffer zone. This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.